This is PSA, Philly Service Announcement. Takeover Tuesday, Takeover. Love, support, and grace, social activism, resources, and art. You know, I'm in the building. As y'all can see, I'm by myself. My right-hand sister. I'm the assist. My right-hand sister, Nick, you know what I'm saying? You know, being the queen that she is, she got some things she got to take care of with the family and everything, so we always respect that. My guest is on her way. I was just giving her directions to try to make sure she can find her here. She's an amazing woman with a crazy story. So I definitely want y'all to hear from her. Her name is Anna Figueroa. You know what I'm saying? She going to come in and let y'all know what's going on. So today I was at this restorative justice training. And it's crazy when you in the room with like people that you look at as being like stars. Like these is people like in the trenches taking care of people at every level. Like you got reentry cats in there, you got housing people in there, you got child welfare people in there, you got pastors in there, you know, psychiatrists in there, you know what I mean? Like it was just so many people in this training with me. You know, you got cats that done been to jail like myself and came home and got degrees and all of these different things, and they in the community, they trying to help. And I just got the certificate for restorative justice. So now I'm a trainer and I can train people on doing restorative justice circles and so forth and so on. And we got a whole organization that's like restorative justice initiative, restorative city initiative, where what we're going to try to do, well, no, not what we're going to try to do. What we are going to do is we're going to have these community hubs where the community is healing itself, where the community is, you know, stopping transgressions, or if a transgression has happened, we can solve it before calling the police. And if y'all heard anything that I talk about on the show, you know, I'm very big on us policing ourselves, us being able to take care of ourselves at every level, whether we talking about businesses, black-owned businesses, we talking about a curriculum about being African-centered and about our people teaching our children identity, because I believe that's one of the biggest issues with why we see so many things going on the way that they are, is because we don't know who we are. And you know, people say it all the time, when you don't got no foundation to stand on, you'll fall for anything. And the foundation that we all should be standing on is our identity. You know what I mean? The fact that, you know, you can go into Jewish communities, you know, Asian communities, Latino communities, and they have a language and a flag that they stand under, and they can have their own internal stuff going on, but they push forward based on that identity. So when we be wondering, how can these people be successful? How can they quote unquote stick together? Because black folk do stick together. You know, that's like a false narrative that's pushed out there. Now, we don't always stick together for the correct things because we don't have the identity to stand together for those things. But when you look at organizations like sororities, fraternities, when you look at black journalists, 100 black cops, or, you know what I'm saying, 100 black men that care, and I can go on and on and on with all these different organizations that we have that's all black organizations, and their only, you know, mission statement, so to speak, is to promote black identity in whatever that area is. So you got black journalists who try to make sure that our story is told correctly from our perspective. So we do stay together. We do stick together on a variety of things, but it's like, because we don't have that strong sense of identity, that language and that flag, it gets, you know, all over the place. We start to be all over the place. We can't like get together for 5 pillars, like 5 things that we should all, it's non-negotiable as black folk. We don't even discuss, we don't even argue about it. All we debate about that is strategy and the tactics that we're going to use to get to this strategy, or to meet the goals that we want to make for our people. So during this restorative justice training, and restorative justice is something that I read about years ago. I seen it in action while I was in the penitentiary, and then to see now that, you know, it's a old, not see now, but it's a old ancient thing that our ancestors been doing. We've been treating healing and how to promote business practices, how to treat, you know, your family and keep the institution of family strong, and then transgressions and quote unquote wrong, not quote unquote crime, but what we would call wrongdoing and things of that nature. Yo, you want to be on the show? Yo, one of my brothers just came in here, you know what I'm saying? My brother, I don't even fuck with this boy right now, for real, for real. Cause you know I had a situation go on with some folks that I love, you know what I mean, and this boy didn't show up, and I'm out on him and his future wife too. So let Karen know that I ain't fucking with her neither. Nah, but it's all, you know, it's crazy. It's always somebody come through, man. Even whenever I feel like I'm by myself, and it just ain't about this show, man. This bitch has been in my life. Whenever I almost be feeling like I'm by myself, somebody always pop up to let me know they fuck with me. They got love for me and shit. So even though my man don't want to come on here and talk, you know what I'm saying? My man Chris in here. Now I'm about to do something that I'm not supposed to do on the show. We not supposed to do the phone thing and everything, but I want to make sure that this young lady, and she's actually older than me, but this young lady can find a show, because I really, really, really want y'all to see who she is, see what she about, let y'all know what her resource is, why she do what she do, and tell you her story in hopes that maybe it can inspire somebody. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go to this phone real quick, which is totally unprofessional. We ain't supposed to do this, but I got to make sure she can find her way here. Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that. This a lot.
We never choose to settle. Ain't too many ways out the ghetto. Any way to get it, it'll tear you down if you let it. And we don't do credit. Just make sure my name in the credits. We proof forth the effort. I know some steppers, leave you wetted. They was good guys, but them corners ain't got no exit. I got classic records. Link with the bearded legend, we won first place. Nobody thinks a second. Niggas say they love you. Try to use your name for a leverage.
So she on her way. She says she 3 minutes away. She about to get in the building. So the first thing, one of the other things that I want to do is I want to shout out, you know what I'm saying, my partner. She always be rocking. She put me onto this restorative justice, John. You know what I'm saying? She the one sent me the email and was like, yo, this is something you need to do. Her name is Erica Stewart. She do the Social Impact Cafe. She out there every Saturday, and we gonna be out there every Saturday until it get freezing cold, because we gotta make sure that I've been harping on this a lot, because it's something that really stood out to me. On Worcester and Madera, every Saturday the food get dropped at 8 o'clock. Come on out if you need food delivered, if you need it walk to your house, because a lot of the people who come out live right in that immediate community. So every Saturday, Worcester and Madera, food for families. A lot of our elderly folks be needing the food. They come out, and y'all don't even know how that make me feel. Like, now they be seeing me and they know me. And then this past Saturday was the first time I came out at 8, and it was 2 people already out there with their bags. You know what I'm saying? They was ready to go, because you got to come out there early. Like, they come, you know how old folks is, like older people is, they be out early. Actually, the young lady that's coming on the show right now, I met her out there, you know, coming by. You know, she live in that community. She from Uptown, and she seen me out there, and then we just got into a conversation, and I learned who she was, and I was like, damn, if you don't mind, I would love people to hear your story. You know what I mean? And a lot of the guests that come on the show, that's actually how I meet them. Like, I do a lot of like community work and stuff like that, and I be in a lot of different places, like trying to serve, and people like myself, I bump into them all the time with crazy stories. Like, I'm not crazy in a bad way, but just, you know, real stories, you know, that I know people can connect with and relate to. And when they willing to tell their story and they want to bless me and come on here and tell that story, I'm very appreciative of it. You know what I mean? I don't take it lightly at all. So I definitely want to shout out Erica Stewart. Another person I want to shout out, you know what I'm saying, because I don't think I've said it enough, but her name is Sarita Lewis. You know what I'm saying? And she was like our second guest on the show. And it's somebody that I got a lot of love for. And me working at Odd Day was because of her. Like, she put me on. Like, she is somebody that designs programs and all, and cause she's an extraordinary woman. She's very smart, and she creates programs. And, you know, through one of her friends, Lucinda, who we call, you know, Cindy, but she calls herself Philly Wonder Woman. We call her Philly Wonder Woman. If you go on Instagram, you can find her on Philly Wonder Woman, and you can find Sarita Lewis at Miss Sarita, you know what I'm saying, on Instagram. But she got plugged in. She said, yo, I know somebody that would be perfect for it. Plug me in, you know what I'm saying? And now this has given me credibility at a whole nother level. And then going to this restorative justice training and meeting all of these different people, and it's just a continuum of, yo, it's a lot of people out here that look like us that's out here in these different positions, different agencies, nonprofits, and they taking care of our folks and they love our folks. And meeting these people, and you could feel it when you walk in the room, you know what type of people you're around. So I just want to give, that thank you, those props, that appreciation to Sarita Lewis, who I consider a dear friend, somebody I got a lot of love for, and Erica Studer, somebody else. Both of these women are my sisters. You know what I mean? Forget friend, they're my sisters. And Erica Stewart, who has put me on a lot. And I it's a lot of people that I could start naming and pointing out, but I just wanted to make sure that I give them they prop. You know how they say the roses and all that. I just wanted to make sure, people knew, like, for whatever we think that's inaccurate about black women, they the most loyal women on the planet. And I've lived it, and I still live it. And a lot of how we moving with black women out here come from, we're following behind our oppressor. You know what I'm saying? With the male privilege that I have, it's a imitation of what my oppressor has shown me. And that's what's being exacted on our women, our source of power. So I've been reading, my daughters, they always come at me. Well, not come at me. I think sometimes they feel like, you think we coming at you. But it just, I'm a passionate dude about the things that I believe in and the things that I know to be fact. And I've been getting a lot of information on how we're treating black women, how we are not protecting black women, how we are victimizing black women, how we don't have no care for black women. And it's being shown, like, we talk about, we do say her name, and that's very important, to keep that pressure through that lens on these institutions that are allowing black women to be treated like this, and then not letting it be known all the circumstances around to show how worthy these women are. We should be getting all the information out there, because it shouldn't be happening. Come on, baby, come on. I can't let nobody sit in Nick's seat. I can't do that. So you can put this on. Go ahead, put that on. Go ahead, get yourself settled and everything.
Thank you.
So before I get to our special guest, you know what I'm saying? I want to finish what I was saying about, as a black man who loves black women dearly, and who has been supported at every level of my life by black women. You know what I'm saying? We as men, like, we gotta start really looking at our sisters and looking at them as what they are. Like, yo, these are our source of power, man. If we destroy them, there is no us. So being so quick to put your hands on, talk down to, leave unprotected. Like I told my daughter, I said, I've never in my life seen, I be around a lot. I drive around, I be all times of night. And I never seen this many women just moving by themselves in unprotected areas. And nobody is nobody checking on them. Like, men, we look at them like, this where she want to be at. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to get to our guests, but I just want to, like, reconsider, relook at, redefine how you see black women, dog. They're our mothers, they're our sisters, they're our wives, they're our daughters. It shouldn't take for you to think that way to not treat a black woman. That's another thing that's crazy to me. Oh man, especially since I got a daughter, and I've said this before. Because it shouldn't take for me to feel like something can happen to my daughter for me to look at somebody else's daughter and have that love and respect. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have to think, what would I feel like if somebody did this to my mom, to not treat a black woman any kind of way? I should be able to look at a black woman and just know that she's worthy of being treated like a queen, like she's supposed to be treated. It shouldn't have to be considered in the framework of, I have a mom, I have daughters, I have a wife, I have sisters. Because I stopped saying that. Because when I really think about it, that don't make no sense. We should be looking at them as what they are, the queens, the source of power that's brought us through when all the craziness been going on with black folk. It's been black women that they the ones that push Martin out there. For all of us who love Martin and talk about Martin Luther King so much, and I ain't saying take nothing away, the black women are the ones who empowered him to be who he was. If y'all don't know that story. And it's many of brothers like him, the ones on the ground floor doing the work to push everything that we try to get forward as black people have been black women. So for us to get to this point now, and black women is being shot up in the street, like, yo, man, it's crazy. And I know every situation has stuff that happened before it, but I'm just talking about in my regular everyday life. And I talk to young boys that's 13 to 19 years old at my job, my students, and I hear how they think about black women. So they following us, cause they, young boy been on the planet 14 years. That ain't a long time to form an opinion on something that strong when you hear them talk. So we just need to, reevaluate ourselves and how do we deal with black women, and take it out of the context of my daughter, my mom, just look at her for the woman that she is, the black woman that she is, and have love for her for that. Don't put it in the context of, I got a mom, so what would it be with my mom? Like, nah, man. This is somebody else's mom. This is somebody else's daughter. So, with that being said, I'm going to get into. You settled? You comfortable? You all right?
I'm good.
So, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. You know what I'm saying, and tell them what your titles are, where they can find you. If you want any social media, let them know the social media. If you want to give out your number, you can give out your number. But let them know who you are, and how they can get in contact with you, and how they can find out who you are, find out more about you.
Okay. My name is Anna Figueroa. I am the founder and president of Germantown Housing Justice. Our website is www.germantownhousing-justice. You can find us on our website. I'm not too good on the social media because it's just too much on social media for me. So. Right. I'm trying to get back into it, but I'm not on social media like that. But I did put the flyer on social media last night. So, and I'm also a supervisor at Station House for all males. For the shelter is a re-entry program, and also males that doesn't have no homes.
Okay. So, I'm gonna do my usual, because we can get into a lot of different things. So The first thing I'm gonna ask is, through those two entities, what's the resource that you provide?
With the resources that I provide with the shelter is my ministry. I give, I feed. I try to be a mentor to some of the men that's in there. Try to motivate the men. If I know anything that's going on out in where they can get housing, or if it's a job somewhere, I know, I'll let them know. When they getting upset, I try to calm them down. And I'm like the mother figure inside the shelter with a bunch of men. I'm Mama Ann,
Mama Ann. So this is a thing for me. Like, I didn't even, and when we talked initially, when I think shelter, I don't even think men's shelter. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know a lot of where that comes from with me just being a cat that feel like I could provide, I could produce. That would never be my situation. That's how I be thinking. Not that it's something wrong with that being people's situation, because I know things happen. But I don't even think men. Like, I think in terms of women's shelters. Women need homeless women with children, or abused women, or battered. When I think shelter, I'm not gonna lie. And I'll be out here. But that's what I think. I don't think men's shelter. Is that something that you, when you tell people about it, is it like something people, it's like, damn, they ain't even consider it.
Right. They didn't even know that it's there. They didn't know because it used to be a all women shelter before it came to an all male shelter. But you got to look at, some of our men get bad luck too. They get that, and then mental illness is real.
Right.
It's
real,
a real
thing.
Here.
It's a real thing.
Especially in our men, African men population, they got so much on their mind, and it's like, why me? And we get so many mental health situations coming in, and then when they in that mental health, we don't have that much resources for our men.
Right.
And that's what we need for our men, to have resources. You have men coming out of prison that can't go home, you know, and they got to come there, and then it's not that much resources for them.
Right.
So I'm hoping and praying that when I do get my housing, and that we can help the men that's in that shelter to get up on their feet and motivate them that they can be somebody, they can be, you know, worthy, and they can come up from this. You can stagger, but you can come up from out that stagger. But the men need motivation. They need a push. You know, some of them do and some of them don't. But the one, if you reach one, you reach the whole lot.
Right.
And
so when I think in terms of the shelter, especially from a prison perspective, like it was, and me and you talked about this, and this is a hard conversation, but this conversation needs to be had, because people need to understand. I'm not a person that believes in people being so individualistic that they selfish, but I think certain things have to be looked at individually. You know what I'm saying? And me, during the time that I did, like, you know, they just lump everybody together. Oh, everybody got a gun crime, y'all violent. You know what I'm saying? When some guys just got gun cases, they really had guns because they felt like they weren't safe. So they carried a gun for that. And you got guys with sex cases, all different types. And once you become a sex offender, finding housing is impossible. But everybody is not the alleyway rapist boy. Everybody is not the pedophile boy. You know what I'm saying? You got young boys, and me and you was talking about, and young women who had episodes, mental illness episodes, in the wrong place. The cops come, you done lost your mind, took off all your clothes, there's kids in the house. You ain't never touched nobody in there, but that's a sex case. And then you ain't in a position to try to fight it. You cop and plea. By the time you come to your right state of mind, you don't have the lawyers and the support around you to show you how to parse through what they're telling you. You just, oh man, they told me I can come home 10 years pro. But now you a sex offender, and that's gonna change your life in a way you never gonna get it back.
And without telling nobody else information, I know of I mentored him. He came home and he was a sex offender, but someone lied on him. And he didn't know what he was doing, so he pleaded guilty. But I told him he have a voice. You got a voice. Start speaking it. If you feel in your heart you didn't do it and you didn't do it, fight it. And to this day, he fought it. He's off the sex offender, and he got his own home, and now he have a job. You know, but it's hard for these sex offenders. It's some of them did it and some of them didn't. But it's different levels.
It's circumstances.
And level 1, you can be around kids. Level 2, it's iffy. Level 3 is like no way. You know, and some of them have to take medication because they were sex offender, just to don't have that thought in their mind.
Wow, it's crazy, because I more so when I be thinking about it, so many of the cases with like young kids, like you know, again, it's information that you gotta look through, but it's like the 18-year-old cat that was messing with a girl that was 16. You know what I'm saying? Or messing with a girl that was 15. Now on paper in the courtroom they gonna make that sound crazy, but that 15 and 18 is not this wide berth where it's like you did whatever but if the right circumstance, like when we was young boys, it used to be like girls that was runaways. You know what I mean? And they would say XYZ happened to them, and it didn't go down like that. But they were scared because they ran away from, you know, at the time we ain't understand it, but they scared because they ran away from the group home. We don't know what the penalty of that's going to be. So when they find them, they like, well, no, they took me over here, or they took me, you know what I'm saying? And then now young boy got a sex case when he ain't take nothing. He ain't, you know what I mean? He was being a young boy, young girl, they doing whatever they did, but because she was in a certain circumstance, and then she didn't even know better. You understand what I'm saying? She didn't know what the ramifications was. She was trying to get out of trouble. Period, point blank. It wasn't no this vicious, malicious intent where she trying to get everybody on it. Nah, she young, is not thinking properly, immature. But then you got this young guy who got a sex crime, or 2 or 3 of them. One of them actually was dealing with the young lady. The other 2 was just there, but all 3 of y'all taking this case. You know what I mean? And then nobody's parsing through it.
And
you know what I mean?
Not speaking about it.
You
know, and I understand that, you know, but I also know that something happened with that person, man or woman, when they was a child. for order for them to know how to do something like that. You know, you got to look back in your roots. I can say one of the young men was going off and nobody couldn't talk him down, but I went in as a mother figure and I'm like, come on, act like you know, been there, done that, let's get it together. You know, and I'm like, who made you angry?
Right.
What happened to you to be so angry?
Right.
You know, and he told me, you know, he didn't have a child life. Parents wasn't there. So you gotta understand it's all different levels. I could say, you know, it's some good men out here that don't want to do that and they got in a bad situation, but you got women out here. I'm gonna say for me, for instance, I thought men supposed to do what they do when they, to me, because I grew up thinking that a man's supposed to take what they want and not saying nothing. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Being molested by my dad and my cousin at the age of 5 to 7, I thought men did that. Because back then, you don't say nothing. What goes in the house stays in the house.
That secrecy kills us, y'all. Like, I talk about that a lot. Like, it's a difference between privacy and secrecy. And secrecy kills. Secrecy kills.
Right. So you don't know what people went through as they're young. It's just me now, as I told you before, I'm 56 and I just came an adult because I was a child trying to catch up. You know, some of them, us men and us women that's still doing the same thing is because they still in a seven-year-old mind.
Yo, that's crazy. And it's crazy. And the thing is, you having that perspective, being able to work and work where you work at after what your experience has been. And you and because I know I know you got triggers. I know you got things that be like, yo, I need to take a minute. So for you to be able to work in there and be one of those people that can parse through it, like I know who wrong and I know who did wrong, and we gotta treat them, we gotta deal with them a certain way, and then I know who didn't do anything, and this shouldn't be their reality. You know what I mean? So for you to sit in there, for you to sit there and sit in it and not feel like, I hate all y'all. Like, y'all did this to me, because you know that's a reality too. You know what I mean?
I had the moment.
Right.
I had the moments.
No doubt.
You know, before I got to GHJ and my own my own organization, I was working for this company to opportunity education in our community. I was a community advocate, and this man came from Chicago and he got to be a director. He was talking to me any kind of way, and that's a trigger for me. You don't talk to me any kind of way because you ain't down in me today. You know, that's a trigger for me because I'm not allowing no man to talk to me like that no more. You know, so it's like, you know, he was talking, no. You know what I mean? You in Philadelphia. You ain't in Chicago.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he came in saying, oh, this the church girl. So you already triggered me. You already judged me. So a month or two that he was there, he fired me. You know what I mean? Why? Because I'm a Christian? Because I had my own opinion? You can't just say, this man, you're going to do something for education. What are you going to do for our families in our community? Sometimes they can't think about education if they ain't got food on the table.
Right.
They can't think about education if they ain't got a place to live, so they can't get their kids taken away from them. So what are you going to do to help our children?
Exactly.
You know?
It's like my co-host, she always talks about the importance of how they dismantled the black family, and that goes into that because it's like, y'all saying these kids don't want to learn or these kids are inherently violent, but one of the things I do is I meet them where they at when they come in there, because I don't know what was going on before you came to me. I don't know that story, so I gotta try to. It's like a touch and go thing. Like, all right, where are you at today? Where they at today? Before I start saying whatever I'm going to do, whatever I'm gonna teach, and whatever the case may be, I gotta figure out where they at. And that's a prime example. You're coming in saying, oh, we're gonna do this with education, and you like, hold up, if you are an educator, you should know we gotta take care of this, and this before they can even have the wherewithal to sit in front of nobody and learn anything.
Did Johnny eat today?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's where I'm saying, families at home, and I worked in the school district and all that. you gotta understand where families coming from. If you don't know where they're coming from and don't look down on them, then don't bother them.
Right.
You're in the wrong position.
Right.
It's good educators and it's bad educators. They just there for a check. I seen a principal that I was working under used to go knock on the doors and say, "Wait a minute, I ain't see you in school." And the mom said, "We don't have no food," or the kid is saying, "Oh, we don't got no food, and I gotta watch my kids. I gotta watch my sisters and them because my mom on drugs." You know what I mean? And he takes money out of his pocket and go buy groceries for them. We have to know where our families are.
Right.
We cannot keep pushing education, and not know where they are.
Right.
If you don't help them.
So that kind of informs me on how you can do the work at the shelter. Like hearing, what's funny? I met this other young lady, and it seemed like all the people who like really want to help and do help from the heart, y'all don't never stay nowhere long. Y'all be at DHS for 5 years, the school district for 4 years, working in housing for 5 years, because it be like you get into these spaces and it be like, these people ain't really trying to help.
I worked for the school district for 6 years and then I retired.
Right.
But I always been a community advocate. It seems that's my God is telling me this is where he want me to be.
Right.
So I am in the community. And then I went to Tabor. I worked under the umbrella of DHS as a parent advocate.
See? I ain't even know that, but I'm telling you, it's like a vibe. Like you be around it for a while. And somehow they always like, I was at Child Welfare Services at some point. I was working with the kids here. Like, nah, but that's a beautiful thing because when you get into these systems and you start seeing that it's a numbers game and it's a lot of people in here that they can write these beautiful grants and all that about what they doing for the kids, but really it's like, I'm just writing this to get a certain amount of kids so we can get a certain amount of money and then I'm good, but you really not trying to make sure that these kids is good. You know what I mean? It's like every agency, and then like I said, I'm doing I got one more class at Restorative City Initiative, doing restorative justice, and I met a young lady. She gonna come on the show. Her name is Lynette, and she was like that. She was like, wherever you be at, you start seeing that they not really for the people, and then you start seeing they don't want you around because you make it very salient that they're not for the people. So it's like they make it hard or they fire you. If they can find a way to fire you, they fire you, or else they make it so hard on you that you quit.
Exactly.
And then that's why I'd be like, I go from here, and then y'all always wind up doing the same thing. I had to get my own organization because I got to come out here and do this and do that and then you got the experience for it by then too, and you know the ins and the outs. So that's the beauty of it too. Right. You know what I'm saying? You get to see it, and you see where the problem's at, and you know how to recognize the people who heart ain't in it.
And plus, I've been through it.
Right.
And I'm still going through it.
Right.
I'm still struggling, but I'm not going to let it stop me from doing for someone else.
Right.
Because I know my blessings is coming. So this is why GHJ was formed, because there's enough housing for our people. And the gentrification is real.
Right.
It's real. You
so
know?
Tell me the story that you was telling me about the apartment building uptown.
Emmanuel Freeman, they call it the Germantown Settlement. It used to be a Germantown Settlement program where Emmanuel Freeman had all these properties, and I lived in one of them. And a friend of mine was like, I don't think you should be paying rent, and I'm like, I'm paying my rent,
Right.
But then he had this big old community meeting where Philadelphia Housing Development came in and the council people came in, Cindy Bash and them, and they told us not to pay our rent no more because he was illegal to rent to me, to rent to us.
Now, it's the city councilwoman. She's still the city councilwoman
yes,
out there, too.
The ccity councilwoman and Greg Helen, the former director of Philadelphia Housing.
I need to get
I don't want to say nothing negative.
No doubt. We don't do no beefing. We don't do no beefing on this show. No beefing. What he did was he went bankrupt in 2011. But he went down radar, and he owed the city $1 million.
If that was me, I'll be in jail. But all the long story short is that I fought for the community. I fought for the people inside the in that apartment building, and we all got housing because Illinois was kicking us out.
Right.
And I always said this is not going to defeat me because Emmanuel Freeman's son threatened me. I would say I will own this and you'll be paying me rent. You know what I mean? I went through a whole lot of stuff in that building because, he talking about taking my hinges off my door because I'm listening to the white man. And I said, come on, because the taller you is, the faller you're going to fall on that ground. You know what I mean? I got a baseball bat right next to my door. I was there. I'm speaking the truth. Like, this is what happened. I have Cindy Bash's phone number on my cell phone today. Mm-hmm. I will go back to jail if this man come knocking on my door. Mm-hmm. She done sent the police. She sent all kinds of people to help us, and I fought. And this is how this, because I said, whatever I went through, I don't want other people to go through. And I know it's a lot of developers that want these properties. Mm-hmm. The New Yorkers coming in, taking these properties, saying that it's going to be affordable, and it's not.
Right.
It's not. It's going to be like $1,600 like North Philly. I know somebody's paying $2,300 a month in North Philly.
Right.
North Philly. I was born and raised in North Philly, but North Philly, even in Southwest, and it's
South
too many,
Philly,
and West, they taking us out, y'all, and we gotta stop.
And the thing is, the craziest thing about gentrification is, they sending people. They don't know where these people landing at. If they landed anywhere at all, you know what I'm saying? They don't know where. Once we buy this spot up, make all these people move out. Where are these people going?
They sending us back to the Northeast. They want us in the Northeast and the suburbs. They want us to move out because this is going to be the tourists and all white people where they'll have this and they closer to town.
Right, they closer to downtown.
You know what I mean? So they realized they moved all out back there in the Northeast and the suburbs. Now they realize, dang, we spend too much money to get to the center city. Oh, we want to take that back, and we allowing it.
Exactly. But see, I'm gonna say we allowing it only because we need people like you to inform more people. A lot of people don't. They don't know. Just like when you uptown, some people didn't know what gentrification meant. They never heard of the word. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Until now, it's like a catchword now. But this is something that been existed. They've been doing it. Actually, they doing it all over the country. Right. It's not just in Philadelphia.
No, but here in Philadelphia and Germantown, where we live at, we want to stop it.
And you gotta inform them. That's the thing. If you don't want, like, one of the things that I say, I think we posted it already, but those who are not informed always get taken advantage of.
Right.
I don't care what the situation is you in. If you are not informed, you're going to get taken advantage of. So the importance of you is you done been on the front line with the fight. A lot of people don't know it's New Yorkers coming in here. That's one of the groups that's coming in and buying a lot of this stuff up. People don't know that.
They trying to make this where New York, you cannot buy a home for $3 million in New York. It's above that.
Right.
So once they start coming down here doing that here, that's how much it's going to cost. And we cannot afford that. And then when you got your mom, your dad, your grandparents have a home, they're going to push their taxes up
all the way up
where they can't afford it. And that's forcing them out. We should not allow that. And I just had a community meeting on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And I paid some young people to put the flyers out. And I was in the car to make sure that they put it out there. You know how many people came out?
How many?
5.
Wow.
How do we get our people engaged?
We got
some of our people. I know some of our people just gave up. Some of our people feel like they don't care about us, so why should we care?
Right.
But we have to come out and say, to take this back. It ain't going to start from the top. It's going to start from the bottom.
It's bottom up.
This is our community. Let's come together and let's do the right thing. If you want affordable housing, let's come on. Work with GHJ.
Right.
You know what I mean? Work with us so we can get these properties. We can do this.
See where one of the things, and I used to be one of those cats that be like, yo, I ain't voting. Like when I first started learning my history and all that, it made me feel like, what the hell am I voting for? But then the more I read, I started realizing that they get you all caught. When I was thinking voting, I'm thinking the president. They get you all caught up in voting for the president because you can vote for the president, but if you haven't voted for any representatives to go to D.C. to tell the president what you want for your area,
them little ones,
it don't matter. And then now we take it, we bring it down some more. If you don't have people to go to Harrisburg, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then the people go from Harrisburg to D.C., you're not going to get anything done. You're just voting. It's a popularity contest at that point. You're just watching reality TV and voting on who you want to be the winner. But I'm very big now that I'm more informed that local politics is everything.
That's right.
And you got city council folks that's in this city that's fighting against the developers. Right. And you got to find out who those people are. If your city council person is not, if that's not one of their platforms to be going at, and I mean not working with the developers, but going at the developer, because the developer only thinking one thing: land acquisition. That's all I care about. However I could get this land, this parcel, whatever it is, I'm going to do that. I'm not worrying about who own it. All I'm worrying about is me getting this land and me making the money off of it after the fact. Right. And bringing, because they not going to live in the neighborhood. The developer that's buying, he live, somewhere, the whole country is his, you know what I mean? If the developer is big enough, he all over the place.
Right.
So he, like you said, he ain't even from Philly. He don't care nothing about the history of Philly. All he see is land and the money that comes from having land. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of our people, and you need to be, and I know you are, one of those advocates to inform people like, listen, local politics is important with this issue. Right. Y'all saying y'all don't want to vote, but this is how we get it. This is one of the ways that we get it to stop. And you got to find out what city council people are going against the developers and who's working with the developers and where they at in the city and how. And we need to coalesce around that. So I understand what you're saying because our people are not informed. Right. But we got to be the ones to, that 5 people, they could have told 5 more people. And then they could have told 5. So I would have been disappointed too. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I ain't disappointed because that 5 can make 10.
Exactly.
I mean, but I'm going to keep doing it. That's not going to stop me. I'm going to still, because I'm a grassroots. So it's like, some people that's on the top forget where they came from. You know what I mean? And you say this is what you should have done when you wasn't a council person or when you was whatever you are now. When you was regular. When you was regular, they should be doing this for the community. This should be, but I noticed you only doing it for the upper part of Chestnut Hill, Mount Erie, da-da-da-da-da. What happened to the lower Germantown? Yeah, because I talk about that a lot. On the show, how when I was young, that was our enclave. That was our suburb. Like, black folk in the city, when you start getting money, that's one of the places that you move. And it looked it like it. Right. It looked it nice. When I used to go up there and visit my grandfather, it was like a whole nother world. And I was from 18th and Master at that time. And you old enough to know what 18th and Master looked like in the 80s. Yes. And then the difference between driving up Broad Street up to West Oak Lane, East Oak Lane, and seeing a stark difference driving up Broad Street. Right. But it was our people. It was us. Like this, we own this. These are homeowners. These are black homeowners. Nice cars, 2 cars. You know what I'm saying? Living a different type of life only for crack, gentrification, violence, so forth and so racist policies being enacted that caused us to lose that. Now when I look up there and I'm like, damn, like how did this happen? But we out there. Yes, you met me out there. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So we out there, and you can and you whatever you need to bring down there to me, you know where I'm at. Worcester and Madera every Saturday giving out the food. You know what I'm saying? You could bring that to me, but I want to kind of get back into the work that you do at the shelter. Because I think that, we didn't get off on a tangent because you do both things and they both play into each other. You know what I'm saying? So what is one of the biggest things in the shelter that you feel like need to be addressed? Is it housing? Is it mental health? Like, what is it? What is one of the things that you see and you be like, yo, if somebody came in and said we could fix one thing for you, and I know it's multiple things, but that first thing that you would want to be fixed if somebody just came in with the magic wand, you know what I'm saying, and said, yo, I'm going to fix that. Housing for the mental.
For the mentally ill. Right. Or not mentally ill, because I've been told that that's not a
mental. Mentally challenged. They
Right.
challenge.
Right.
Especially the young folks. We have a young man there is 21 years old, have been abused, but I call him road runner, and because that's all he do. It's nothing there for the shelter can provide for him.
Right.
So we got to look for programs for him.
Right.
Or some type of housing for him. I always said if I had a house, I would make a house where he can have a room and he can feel loved. You know, because he never had that feeling.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That would be
Housing.
Housing is the biggest issue for you.
For our brothers, they need housing.
So how, like, cause I need
And
to
jobs.
come see. I like, not that I got the magic wand, but you know how when you out here, your network just keep growing, and you never know the next person that you run into, or you already know and you just didn't know that they do that. Once I got the information, cause I really do want to come down there and see, cause like I said, I don't even visualize. I don't even think, when I think shelter, I don't think men's shelter. I just don't. You know what I mean? And I know it's a lot of people like me. No, the cats don't be thinking ladies, men, like they don't think men's shelter is. We think female, and that's a problem too in the way that we look at each other, because we automatically look at women as being vulnerable enough to be in a shelter.
Right.
When that can be a problem. Looking at women just always as being, oh yeah, they the ones that's gonna wind up in the shelter, and then looking at men like, how are you in the shelter? You a man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I know I be having that attitude. I'm not gonna lie.
Maybe
so I
you
know
can come there and be mentors to some of these men, because some of them is not feeling like they can above this.
Right.
Some of them is just off luck.
And I'm real big on, and I know you probably do this yourself, but I'm real big on, you need different people to be able to talk to people, because everybody connects to somebody different.
Right.
As much love as care that you show them, what you saying may not connect.
Right.
But somebody else come in there and it's like something like triggers too. You know what I mean? Like we said with triggers, it triggers something in them. Like, damn, that makes sense. And you probably said the same thing, and you sit in the back and like, I said the same thing to boy, but it just came from somebody else.
Right.
And the more people that you can get to come down and just talk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? May give guys that inspiration that they didn't already have.
Right.
Is it a lot of women that work there, or is like is it more women than men?
1, 2, 3, 4. It's about 4 women and the rest is men. But we the ones that got the voice.
You said y'all the one that got the voice.
But
is that on purpose, or is it just happens like that?
It just happened that way.
I got you.
I mean, the director Joseph, he's very good with the men. He sit and listen to him and give him advice. I think just for me and the other women there, we come. I'm gonna say for me. I don't know about everybody else. I come as a person that been there, done that.
Right.
You ain't gonna
you can't bullshit a bullshitter.
Exactly. and they respect that.
Right.
And they'll come and talk to me before they go talk to their counselor.
Wow.
Because I'm near, like, yeah,
I'm in the trenches with y'all, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
Now this is enough. Like, demographic wise, is it a lot of older men there, or is it
It's
a lot
older.
of younger men? Is it like switching that? Like, how
It's switch. Like, when I first started a year ago, it was a lot of middle age. And everybody, and they got out and got their housing and jobs and stuff. And then we got mental health. It switches. Like,
right.
And then now it seems like we're getting older folks. But still, some of them is still mental health. And, so it changes.
Oh,
like, right now we got older folks.
Right.
And a little bit of younger folks.
That's great.
So it just varies. It just go into a circle.
So how long you been working there again?
A year and a half, almost 2 years.
So you told something about your story, but like, why do you do this? Like, you did everything you did before this, right? And being in the shelter now, like, why do you do the shelter? Because you have the experience that you can fill out and be working other places if that's what you wanted to do. So why the shelter? Why the shelter? Why the shelter now? Like, why do you do it?
Because my gift is a helper. I'm a helper.
Right.
So, and I love to cook. So, and I like to give love, food with love. And when I give them my food, I show it, and I love to help others. So I know that that's my gift from my higher power, is a helper. And when I come to work, I don't look at it as a job, it's my ministry.
Right. No, that's crazy, because a lot of the stuff like this, I thought this was going to be like an ends to a means. You know what I mean? Like, I seen the potential in it. I was like, yo, I'm about it. I think this is gonna be dope. But then once I started doing it, I started loving it. And then people been giving me like good feedback, like, no, you got this is what y'all do. So I know that feeling. And when I go to Ida, like, you know, dealing with teenagers, like, you gotta love that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta love, and it be like, it's so crazy, because when I go in there, I be cool. Like, it's not, you know how, I know you know how I feel to go to work and be like, why did I come to this joint? Like, I just want to quit. Like, I never feel like that. So I know that feeling, and a lot of people don't, though. Like, we saying it like it's regular, but a lot of people don't know the feeling of going to work and loving it. Right. A lot of people die never knowing what it feel like to do what you love to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's a beautiful thing. Like, that feels good to me to know. Like, I can see it. Like, yo, because a person wouldn't think working in a men's shelter with your history, like we talked about earlier, would be somewhere you would love to go. Like, I need to be there for them. That it feels good to help them. Yes. You know what I mean? And that's a crazy transition, especially considering what you've been through in your life. Like, and that, do you talk about that at work? Like, is that something that you talk to them? You might have said it earlier, but is that something?
I tell them, don't think that I ain't been around the corner. You know, I did what you did.
Right.
You know, I smoked it, sold it, went to jail for it.
Right.
You know, I had a bad, rough life too when I was young. So when I tell them that, and then I give them a little dip of it, I don't give them my whole story. But when I give a little dip,
you lucky PSA ain't that type of show, because I'll be like, we need to know this. And you didn't tell us that. But nah, I really, you know, everybody that come on the show, everybody that I meet, my family, like, at first I used to feel like I was being corny, like people wouldn't believe it. But yo, man, where I've been, because that's another thing about my young folks, about my students, like, they rock with me because they be like, yo, you got a story, like, you can relate. Right. You know what I mean? They don't be trying to bullshit because they like, yo, he really been through it. And then the people that I bring in there for them to talk to, you know, people always going to tell your story. If you really about what you say you are, when you not in the room, people going to tell that story. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that be the thing that grabs. So I understand what you're saying when you say, yo, I got a story too, and this ain't the end. Look at me. I'm standing here helping y'all after going through what I went through.
Right.
I could have been gave up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And would have felt like I had the right to.
Right.
And would have felt like you need to help me.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So for you to be telling them that and that love, like that love from a black woman, man, it's a different thing. You know what I'm saying? I just was talking about that earlier. Like, that source of power, we need that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to know, like,
but some of us black women need to uplift our African men too.
It gotta go both ways.
I mean,
we gotta do it. We gotta you know what we can't do the struggle Olympics. You know what the struggle Olympics is? It's like when a black man be like, it's so hard for me because the cops is doing this and I'm going to jail and they calling me a deadbeat, and then a black woman be like, no, it's hard for me because y'all keep beating me up. Domestic violence. I'm out here with the kids by myself. That's the struggle Olympics. We gotta get away from that.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And just be on the uplift.
I'm gonna just say, us black men know how to tear a black man down.
The psychological games can be amazing.
We need to stop trying to tear y'all down and uplift y'all and let y'all know that you are worthy and that you are a king and that you can exceed.
I am. Thank you.
Just like you said that we are a queen, we still gotta let y'all know.
Right.
You're a king. Whatever you went through, you ain't gotta do what you went through.
Right.
You can make a difference. You can break that cycle. We have to uplift y'all instead of downing y'all.
Now let me ask you this though,
That's
and this is from you good. I'm with it. My right hand sister. That's always her. You know what I'm saying? And I know as a black woman, she's been through some things, but it's always still the black king and the black family, and she let you know she a queen though. Like she let you know she a woman, and she with the sisters, but she is. We got to make sure all three is intact. They don't work by themselves independently. Exactly. But this what I want to ask you though. Do you feel like that could get to the point where you kind of like coddling men, and they not reaching their potential? Because they know they can come. They know they can come get that.
Every good man has a good woman behind him.
You don't think on the side? Y'all would have got into something, because she would have been like, nah, we supposed to be on the side. I'm on the side of you.
I feel like every good
I'm just
woman,
telling you what my co-host is saying. I got
but see, all of us got different opinions. I just feel that
should be respected.
Right.
That should be respected.
Right. So I feel like this. Every good man has a good woman. Right. Every good woman has a good man on the side, or if it's a she or a he, whatever. As long as you doing something to uplift that one or her or he, you both is inspiring each other to do better.
That's the point of a relationship. I've been trying to have that conversation a lot. Like, if we in a relationship, it should be like this love competition. You feel what I'm saying? Where we constantly trying to build for each other. Like I'm trying to be my best self so I can be better for you, and you should be doing the same thing. It shouldn't be I gotta be my best self to make sure you good. And then that's the end of it. And that's either way, whether it's the man to the woman or the woman to the man. So I totally agree with that, and I try to live by it as much as, because we,
Not
ain't none
even
of us
in
perfect.
a relationship. Like, back to the shelter. I try to uplift our men. Like, you can do better. You know what I mean? And you rather go around here on the bridge and smoke a weed and live and get 3 meals and a cot for free instead of you going to go get a job.
Right.
Mama, Mama Ann, I gotta do that. I said, no, I don't. You know what I mean? So
I don't know.
When you don't know, I said, let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you again. I smoked it, sold it, and went to jail for it. You looking at somebody that smokes $700 a day? Like, you don't look at me like that.
Right.
I mean, and don't come at me like that.
Right.
Because if you ain't gonna change, your life is not gonna change.
And then how you gonna be like, yo, y'all not doing this for me? I'm not getting the help.
And they do say that. How you gonna sit up here and argue with your counselor, and you ain't doing what you supposed to do?
Right.
You know what I mean? Checkmate. You're not supposed to be playing checkers. You're supposed to be playing chess.
All day. It's about strategy. So listen, right? This, you got to come back.
Okay.
Because I know you got a lot of, and I want to hear what you had to say about tonight. I ain't gonna.
I don't mind.
This ain't that type of show. Like, if it's a part of the story, I can, you know what I'm saying? But nah, I so appreciate you being on the show. I so appreciate you telling your story. I met her at the food drive. She was riding by. I told her, like, no, it's free. She's like, what? It's free? And then we both was blessed. You know what I'm saying? Just from that one connection of me just yelling at her car. Telling her there's some free produce out here. You know what I'm saying? So, Ann Figueroa, I really, really, really appreciate you. I definitely need you to come back. This is PSA, Philly service announcement. Whenever she come back, she gonna come back. You know what I'm saying? But nah, that's my right-hand sister, Nick. I'm the assist. Takeover Tuesday, Takeover Glockaware Radio. Toucan, I always appreciate it, man. You know what I'm saying? You got anything you want to say before you clip us?
Germantown Justice, go to our website. We need donations. Everybody knows that they have looking for a building in Germantown so we can set up shop, so we can give out training and job trainings.
I mean, we can make it a restorative justice hub too. I'm a trainer now. You know what I'm saying? I just got that today. All right, PSA, we out, y'all.